Hello, shiny happy Facebook. This is Chris Pickard at Body in Balance in Hertfordshire. This week I have been talking about detox. Why am I talking about detox? Because I want to save your health so that you can then help me save the NHS. The NHS is being crippled by the huge number of chronic healthcare problems that it's unable to tackle at the end where they've already happened. So the easiest and the best way to actually save the NHS is actually by taking responsibility for your own health. For the past 50 years, people have they've been abdicating more and more responsibility for their own health. First of all, towards the NHS, which is great in a lot of ways, but then also to pharmaceutical companies. A vaccine is going to cure them of everything, a drug is going to cure them of everything. But all it's really doing is it's stopping us from dying. And what do I mean by this? Well, if you look at the average life expectancy of people in the UK, yes, it's gone up very slightly just again, and it's certainly gone up over the last 50 years. But the average healthy life expectancy, that is the number of years you're actually going to be healthy for, has not changed at all. And in fact, if you compared the healthy life expectancy of someone born now compared to someone that made it to the age of 5 in Victorian times, the Victorians had a higher healthy life expectancy. And I was very clear about the fact that once you made it past those first few years, that's when the health expectancy went up. But 5-year-olds today, their healthy life expectancy is not as good as Victorians who made it to the same age. And why is this? Well, it's because of everything else happening around the world, and it's not because of medicine. Because if medicine was the cure, then the countries with the most medicine would have the best health, and they don't. It's just simply not true. Medicine is very helpful for a lot of things, but it doesn't make you more healthy, because in order to use medicine, you've got to get sick in the first place. So hello Ellie, hello Hans. So what I'm talking about is I'm talking about true prevention by taking responsibility back for your own health. And there are so many toxins in the environment that are causing problems with us. And today I'm going to be talking about probably the least controversial, and I hope this is a very uncontroversial subject, even to those who are still skeptical about the ideas of detoxification. I'm talking about the white menace. This is possibly the most addictive substance on the planet, and it's the one that's causing the most harm in America and certainly the UK and probably Europe and possibly generally worldwide, the most dangerous chemical there is. And it's something though that we all still need. Okay, and that, for those, you've probably already guessed, quite a lot of you, okay, is sugar. Okay, yes. The great white menace that we should all be trying to detox a lot from is sugar. Now, first of all, I'm not saying that you never need sugar, because our system, parts of our body run off sugar. They need sugar. They cannot run off of anything else. But most of our cells actually run off fat more cleanly and more efficiently than they do sugar. But sugar is just so quick to burn, it's used in preference all the time. The problem has come not because of sugar per se, but of our overuse of sugar. So what problems does too much sugar cause? Well, the big one that most people know about is diabetes. Too much sugar causes diabetes via a cascade effect via various hormones, and it shuts down all kinds of things, and it causes diabetes. What they now also think is they think that Alzheimer's, or at least some people with Alzheimer's, could actually be classified as diabetes type 3, and that too much sugar is causing brain inflammation. We also know that most cancers, not all, but most cancers prefer fructose and sugars as their fuel over fat, and most cancers cannot actually burn fat. So if you don't put sugar into your body, you starve most cancers. Not all, most. And it's not just about sugar, it's more complicated than that. But basically, so sugar feeds most cancers, sugar feeds diabetes, it possibly feeds Alzheimer's, and now they're also finding that a side effect of too much sugar, which is actually one of the first phases of diabetes type 2, which is insulin resistance, is possibly the cause of heart disease more so than cholesterol and fats. So what happens? What's happening? Well, we know that sugar, it actually constricts blood vessels, and there's many reasons why it will be doing that, but basically it constricts blood vessels, and so when you have more sugar you constrict blood vessels more, so it can actually preempt a heart attack. This is why they found that more people have heart attacks following a supposedly good carbohydrate pasta meal than they do after a full English breakfast, which for years has been demonized as such a bad thing for the heart. But it actually turns out that pasta causes more heart attacks than even the most horribly fried sausages and bacon and eggs. So it's very, very important to understand this, that sugar can actually precipitate and lead to heart attacks because it constricts blood vessels. And then by leading to insulin resistance, it causes even more heart problems. And because what happens is the more sugar you have, you need insulin to then get sugar into your cells if you're not exercising, because exercise actually sucks sugar into your cells in the absence of insulin, apparently. So one way to actually get more sugar in your cells and to bring blood sugar down is to exercise. Another reason why exercise is so good for you. So it's such a great. Now, what happens if you're just relying on insulin to bring your sugar down because you're having so much sugar and you're not exercising, is the cell membranes, they become less receptive to it. It's like if I'm shouting and shouting and shouting at you, if I was just shouting down this broadcast now, eventually you'd all just turn off because you do, oh no. The same thing happens on the inside of our body with hormones. It's the more flooded the body gets, the more the cells go, because again, if too much sugar is getting into your cells, it causes problems as well. So what happens is the body becomes more resistant to insulin. Insulin levels go up and up and up and up and up. Eventually the pancreas goes, I can't make any more insulin. Insulin levels drop, blood sugar levels rise in the blood, and you get lots more constrictions and problems. So sugar is really important to decrease. So how do we do this? Well, basically, pretty much the main way that I go about this is by removing breakfast cereals. Breakfast cereals is one of the most sugary, worst things you can put into your body, especially first thing in the morning, because it's just processed rubbish. And it's sugar with added stuff, and the reason they put added stuff in there and fortify cereals is because so much of the goodness is taken from the cereal through the actual processing process. So they need to add something back to make it worthwhile. So just cut out breakfast cereals, have anything pretty much apart from breakfast cereals. Eggs, even bacon, which, ignore that, don't do that. Vegetable omelettes are better, or just having breakfast later, having some kind of protein shake. Pretty much anything is better than cereal. And also fruit as well. Perhaps not the best thing to have by itself. Have it with some protein to slow down the sugar intake, or just have it later in the day. The more you can burn up your sugar, and it takes 12 hours for your body to burn up all the sugar stores it has. So the longer you can have between your dinner at night and your first meal of the day, the more sugar you would have burnt up, and therefore your body then has to start burning fat. Other things you can do to sort of quell your sugar cravings is you can start choosing more healthy sugars. So even though fruit is still sugar and grapes are sugar, and it's better than Mars bars and cereals by a long, long way. Try and replace bread with some other choices, just even decreasing or halving the amount of bread you have. When you're having pasta and potatoes at dinner, root vegetables, have less root vegetables and more above ground stuff. Make simple little changes. That's all you have to do at first. Increase good fats, because good fats actually produce more of a feeling of satisfaction in the brain, whereas sugar creates a craving because it releases dopamine, which makes you feel great, whereas fats make you just feel satisfied. And that will decrease the sugar cravings as well as you go along. So just make simple little changes and keep on trying. Don't beat yourself up when you fail and you do have some sugar. I mean, I like chocolate, I like bread, I like cakes. I really love treacle tart, but I don't have these things every day. I treat myself to them occasionally, and I see them as a taste treat. I don't see them as a treat to my body. Now, having said that, I just want to say something good about sugar, all right? Coconut sugar apparently doesn't spike your insulin so much, maybe not, but it's still sugar. Same as agave as well, and fruits, it's all still sugar. So you don't want to look at adding sugar to anything as much as possible. You want to try and avoid it. Sugar is good. Now, a lot of times we know that sugar can actually increase inflammation, and when you have lots and lots of sugar, it's bad chronic inflammation. But what we also know is that sugar is actually critical for part of the healing process, which is why your body will still make sugar from protein anyway. And sometimes sugar, like packing sugar onto I was going to pretend I had a grazed knee for some reason. Packing sugar into a wound, for instance, will actually help it heal more quickly. Honey is even better than ordinary sugar. But sugar does have its uses in the body. It's not all bad. It does actually help stimulate some things in the body. But the problem is when we have too much of it, which is what most people are doing. So make some little changes. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. If you know someone who has sugar problems, then please share this video with them and help inspire them to crack down on that nasty powdery white substance. And if you do have a major health problem, if you do have problems with sugar and you think you need help, then please give us a call on 01707 662 704. You've been fantastic, you've been fabulous. Live long and prosper, everyone.